On January 1st, 2026, something remarkable happened. The heart of Bangladesh's capital city, Dhaka, just stopped. The whole nation was saying goodbye to former Prime Minister Khaleda, and what unfolded was one of the biggest public gatherings the country had seen in a long, long time. So let's break down what happened on that day and what it all might mean for the future.
You know, this headline from the newspaper Mzamian just says it all, doesn't it? It's as if it's a city of mourning. Just try to picture that. A massive, bustling city of millions, totally transformed. This was way more than just a state funeral. It was like the entire city was breathing this one collective sigh of grief.
So first off, you've got to understand the sheer, overwhelming scale of this thing. The number of people was just staggering. It wasn't a crowd. Observers were calling it a true ocean of people.
And that phrase, ocean of people, really comes to life when you look at the details. People started showing up at dawn, just streams of them pouring into the area around Manik Mia Avenue. The crowds got so huge they spilled onto overpasses, even onto the roofs of buildings nearby. The city's infrastructure literally had to adapt on the fly. They opened the gates of the metro rail, they even opened up the Parliament's South Plaza, all just to handle this endless tide of mourners.
But you know, right in the middle of this massive public event, there was this really personal human moment. Before the funeral prayer, Khaleda's son, Tarique Rahman, got up to speak, and he asked for forgiveness on his mother's behalf, you know, if she had ever hurt anyone. It was this quiet, poignant moment that just echoed through that immense crowd.
Of course, an event this huge is never just about mourning. It's always about what comes next. And this farewell immediately kicked off some really urgent questions about the future of her party, the BNP, and where the country's politics were headed.
And boom, this headline gets right to the heart of it. With his mother gone, suddenly all eyes were on her son. The question on basically everyone's mind was, could Tarique Rahman, who's been leading the party from abroad, actually step into that void and become the new center of political gravity?
So what you're seeing here are these two competing stories taking shape almost immediately. On the one hand, you have what looks like a powerful mandate to lead. Tarique Rahman called the people his strength, and you've got major players like India's Prime Minister already signaling they want to work with him. But then, on the other hand, the practical challenges are huge. Like, they have to find new candidates for his mother's old seats. It created this real sense of a nation standing at a critical crossroads.
And make no mistake, this wasn't just a local story. When a three-time prime minister passes away, it sends ripples across the entire globe. The world's response was fast, and it was significant.
Yeah, the international reaction was incredibly swift and really widespread. You had high-level officials from neighboring countries like Pakistan and Nepal flying right into Dhaka to pay their respects. You had a US senator expressing sorrow, big regional groups like SAARC put out formal statements, and condolence books were opened in diplomatic missions all the way from London to Kuala Lumpur. It really showed her stature on the world stage.
But out of all those international reactions, the gestures coming from neighboring India were maybe the most closely watched. They carried some serious weight for the future of politics in the whole region.
Okay, so this is the real kicker. This statement from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This wasn't just your standard, sorry for your loss message. No, this was a direct, forward-looking political signal. He explicitly named Tarique Rahman as the leader that India wanted to start a new beginning with. That's a huge deal.
And India definitely backed up those words with actions. Their foreign minister flew to Dhaka, their defense minister went to sign the condolence book, and there was even this brief, symbolic handshake with a Pakistani official on the ground. It was all part of this clear message of engagement, a little moment of connection made possible by this otherwise somber event.
Now, while the world was focused on all the political chess moves, the story of January 1st, 2026 is also about something else. It's about the everyday life of a country. Because while history was being made at a funeral, the regular, messy, complicated life of a nation just kept going on all around it.
The National Day of Mourning had some very real practical consequences. For example, the opening of the huge Dhaka International Trade Fair, a really big deal on the business calendar, was officially pushed back.
But at the same time, the gears of government kept turning. On that very same day, a major new public health law was enacted, completely banning e-cigarettes and all those other new tobacco products across the country.
And life, sometimes in its most tragic forms, also went on. Far away from the organized solemnity of the funeral, a story of sudden, awful violence emerged. A lawyer was beaten to death in the city after some kind of traffic dispute.
And then there's this, a little reminder that the rest of the world just keeps on spinning. The sports pages that day noted that the new year had kicked off with bad news for the soccer giant Real Madrid. It's a small, kind of surreal detail in the day's news cycle.
And this is really crucial. While the capital city was completely focused on this one historic event, a big part of the country was facing a totally different reality. A severe cold wave was hitting 21 districts, bringing real hardship and struggle to daily life, far, far away from the political center.
So, January 1st, 2026 was a day of just immense contradictions, wasn't it? You had a nation seemingly united in grief, a political landscape that was totally up in the air, and the quiet, ongoing struggles of everyday life, all happening at once. The farewell itself was a powerful, historic moment, but the real question, the true test, is what happens on the day after.